Hi guys, how's it going? It's an update time again for my Operation Torch group build on the Hasegawa 148 scale mkVb United States Army Air Force. And just been tinkering around with a few things this time, doing a bit of painting where I'm actually using the scanning, copying mode on my printer and to make my own masks, and so it's been a bit of a challenge so far, but it's working. These were to scale, so these are too large, but these were 70%, so I just enlarged them by 30%. They come up to about the right sort of size. I cut out the paper, transfer it onto masking tape, and then apply it to the model, and the result I got was that. So wasn't too bad. It's been a bit of a challenge, this kit, from the start, but it's getting there now. The main base colour is on, spinners painted, azure blue's done. Started doing a little bit of weathering underneath. I don't know whether it will show up on camera or not, but very hard to sort of get a weathering colour in the blue, sort of a mottled thing, but I'm getting there. And so I'm on the home straight with this one. But it's been very challenging. I wrote a few things down. So on this kit, this is kit number 09571. The wing fits around the Volks filter and chin, and the wings is poor. Step number 4, part C8 and C7 tailplanes. The instructions tell you to put them upside down. Just check your references, otherwise these back tailplanes would be round the wrong way. Now, the spinner comes in two halves. It's got the backing plate and a nose cone. The first thing I found was that when this was, if you put it together with the locating lugs that they give you, it ends up being out of round. So I removed those, and then you get an awful bad seam line there. There is a slight line there I couldn't get out, the join line, but it doesn't look too bad from a distance. The main wheel wells have bad injection pin marks on the back. Two things. The instructions tell you to use these wheels, and they have bad pin marks on the back as well. Well, you don't use those wheels, you use the covered in ones, which are these, which also have bad pin marks on the back. That's probably why a lot of people use aftermarket, but careful sanding and filling and fixes them up. The wing tips, now I fixed them up as best I could, but you probably notice it more, and I'm probably letting out a few things, that when you actually finish building this kit and it's weathered, you'll notice that the seam lines don't match up. Just where these wing tips go on as a separate part, they just don't match. I've matched them up the best I could, rescribed and everything. I know they're there though, that's the trouble. The other thing with masking this up, the frame lines are that faint that I suggest it's very hard to cut your mask out for the windscreen. They're that faint. We used bare metal foil on this one because even to me tape was too thick to try to pick out a canopy line. I suggest probably buying a set of masks with this kit. If you do buy it, wouldn't bother buying it, to tell you the truth. I'd just buy a Airfix one, half the bloody price. Yeah, and just the basic things where they've started off as a Mark 5 and thought, oh well, we'll build a Mark 5B. Oh well, we'll make put a tropical version on it or a desert version, add this and add that, change this, and with all the things they've changed from the basic kit, it just nothing fits properly. Originally the kit in its original form would be quite nice, but these extra add-ons, I'm not too sure whether they're like that in all kits, but they just sort of don't fix up properly. These gun ports are correct apparently. I don't have to fill those in. The other thing is with the landing gate, these doors, the bay doors, if you want to pose the landing gear, retract it down like I have, you actually have to shorten these up, otherwise they won't fit to the it doesn't tell the instructions, so you've got to cut a little piece off the bottom of them. There is a line on the door, but you it doesn't tell you the instructions to cut them off. So yeah, next thing is just let this dry for a couple of days. Paints I used on this one was, and I know the red's wrong, but I used Satin Signal Red Humbrol. I used the Model Master Enamel Middlestone for the light yellow. Some old crappy Humbrol Tamiya Dark Earth. And I used for the Azure Blue, I used the Tamiya paint for the Azure Blue, which can't beat Tamiya paint as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it's awesome. Plus I've got my other paints in my tray there. One thing I do know, you probably notice with me, I have everything sitting that I want for my painting. I'll put it in a little box, so I've got everything that I need for this model project in front of me. The main colours, like I always have black and silver and stuff on my bench anyway, but these are the main aircraft colours, so I've got them there. I know which jar I've used, and so I'll keep everything together. That's one thing I noticed. It's a bit of a handy tip. So yeah, so let that harden off now, the paint harden off for a couple of days. Give it a gloss coat of watered down PVA. That's the other thing I've got to do. I've got to mask off and paint the overpaint areas for the decals. That's what I've got to do as well. So I've got to cut some masks out for that. Then let the paint dry for a couple of days. A couple of clear coats of PVA watered down with white glue, and then add the decals. Another coat. Let that dry and harden. Then I'll give it a little pin wash and start doing a little bit of weathering on it. I've already got sort of the idea for my diorama base to this Operation Torch Group build, what I want to do. Something a bit different where I've got to make a bit of foliage again from scratch, so I'm going to have a go and make my own sort of date palm tree, which is sort of found in Tunisia, which they had these beautiful orange fruit things hanging out, and they have a bit of a different sort of coloured trunks and that, so I'm going to incorporate that into my diorama base as something besides the aircraft without taking too much away from the Spitfire. The other thing that I've been building on, as you know, I've been working on the Foreign Service Group build, which I have been in the process of building the Italeri Mirage jet fighter, Royal Australian Air Force. So I still can't find the page for the front. I hate these things like this that fold out because you just don't know where you are. There we go. So, I've been building this kit, and this one's also been a big challenge. I definitely know that it definitely is an Eschi kit. I have got the Eschi kit of the Mirage 3C, and it's virtually the same, except the decals are different, like the newer decals, and they're reboxed up. But the work so far on the Mirage has got to this stage. I haven't been scribbling on it. This is sort of how I test my seam lines with a black marker pen. This has been a challenge. There hasn't been one single thing on this kit that didn't have flash, and I'm still seeing stuff all the time, that hasn't had a seam line flash or sinkhole that I've had to repair. What can I say about this one? Is unless you really want it, I wouldn't bother buying it. It's not a very pleasant kit to put together. There's still so much work to do. Yeah, every part of the kit needed clean up, every single part. I modified the kit seat. As you can see, it's starting to take shape. I've cut the seat apart, narrowed it down, made a different headrest, just so it looks more like the injector seat that they have instead of the Eshy one. The control panel, I'll just use the decal on that. I am going to add a bit of extra detail in the front of the cockpit here before I paint it, so there'll be a few different little boxes and wires and instruments, because I don't think you can see too much more in this one, and I really can't be too bothered to go really crazy on it. It'll look still good, but I've got another one of these buggers to build, so I might go a little bit more on that one now I know the mistakes, because it's the same kit. The other challenging thing why this kit's I've got to get everything pretty much perfect in joins and stuff, and I know there's going to be flaws in it because I can't do it. This particular aircraft is painted in high speed silver, which the RAAF did in 1967 or 66. This particular example of aircraft, as far as I could work out, was the first Australian license built Mirage that we had. And the reason why they painted them in silver was virtually a high-speed silver paint was a protective coat to protect them from the elements in Australia before the camouflage came in the late 60s, early 70s. So this aircraft is going to be painted in high-speed silver, which is not a high glossy thing. It's just like a silver paint. Sort of still glossy, but it will still show up in the imperfections in the kit, and I know they're going to be there, but it's just the point of getting the finish back right the best I can, as because I said everything that I had to do on this kit is it's been clean up parts on all of it. Disappointing thing that the wheels had nice tread on them, but because there was a bad seam line and I had to sand it a fair bit, I've lost the nice tread. I've added a bit of nose weight in that one too. It's probably nice to see it rattling around. It doesn't tell you to add nose weight, but I did. And just little things like this, sort of no decent locating pins for the landing gear, just like a hole for that to fit into, and it's quite a heavy model. I was worried about it just breaking off and things, but that's going for the Foreign Service group build so far. There's not much else really that I have been up to, and but just plodding along with these two kits. There was a Peter's Plastics. I just want to just a quick question. I like the work you've been doing on the Stug, mate, and I like the work John's been doing on his Panzer III, the little Dragon kit. I managed to get a trade on. A couple of kits, car kits on a couple of Dragon kits. So I've got a couple of Dragon kits coming, military stuff that I can have a go at building. I think I've got a Tiger 1, a Stug 3, a Dragon Smart kit, and a Hummel. Yeah, Hummel. They're all three Dragon kits and they all look very nice. I know the Tiger 1 late production thing, I think, has about 600 parts in it, so it'll keep me busy for a very long time. So anyway, that's the channel upbuilt for the both group build updates for the Operation Torch and the Foreign Service. I haven't seen any other updates for the Foreign Service up yet, so I might be going alright. And if I get a chance, I'm hoping if Bronco, I think John was saying, are bringing out a couple of vehicles, I might build one as an Irish Army one for the Foreign Service group build. Just hoping. Or I've got a Comet, which I wouldn't mind doing in Irish markings too for a Foreign Service group build, just to see something a bit different. But anyway, that's me signing off. That's all I've got to do on this one. There'll be a couple of reveals later this week. Not review, but unboxings. Got some new bits and pieces coming. There's a box of stuff ordered for another guy that I know. He's got some bits and pieces in the box coming. I'm going to do a review on some of those because some interesting kits. And yeah, that's about it. So in the meantime, take care everyone, and model hard, and don't forget you can get good results out of old kits if you just put a teeny bit of an effort. Catch ya.